So, here we go.
It was filled with childish frustrations and complexes which the police authorities for James Thomas believed to be.
Hello. You're listening to Midnight Movie Gang. It is currently 7:12 p.m. Night Movie Gang. My name is Elsie Hines. I'm here with my boy Joseph. Say hi. What's up? And today, of all days, wait, you know what I just realized? I need to, when I log back in, okay, yeah, I'm good. I want to make sure I had the right mic recording. For those of you just tuning in, this is your first episode. This is a show where we talk about horror films, sci-fi, lesser-known films, kind of cult classics, like the what you'd find on Tubi. or like the late night sci-fi channel type vibes.
Really angling for that Tubi sponsorship.
Just really going for. I was looking on Tubi the other day, like trying to find something to watch, and I was like, "Oh, there's too many options."
Tubi's too good.
Tubi is too.
There's too much on there. We can't even cover it all. It's too quality of a service.
2B, more like 2am. Am I right?
True that.
Sorry, this fucking so stupid.
Whatever that means.
I'm too sober right now. I'm too sober. I fell asleep, so I had a good nap.
Yep.
I'm too alive right now.
He's rip roaring to go.
I'm too alive right now. I've been drinking proper water, and I feel hydrated.
Oh my god.
Today,
he's unstoppable.
Today we're talking about the much anticipated, not just on this podcast, but just in general, like the talk of this movie for a variety of reasons. Everyone is talking about it. Everyone's been talking about it, looking forward to it. We're talking about the much awaited 28 years later, the third installment, or third if you want to think about it as a trilogy. Really, the way that this whole thing is set up makes... It's not a trilogy.
Listen, I'm not about to throw out the second one like it's a piece of shit. It's like a 5 out of 10. It's fine. No, it can have its spot.
That's not what I mean. What I'm saying is that like these three movies, 28 days, weeks, and years later, in my opinion, are just... I'm thinking of this, after this movie, it's really an anthology type connection to me.
No, it is an anthology series, yeah.
As far as like these three movies, somebody the other day, I was talking to a couple of my coworkers the other day, and I was telling them about it, and they're like, "Oh, I need to go back and rewatch the first two." And I straight up told them, "No, you don't."
You don't. I mean, like, I still recommended to people, like, you should watch at least the first one.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of... Like, they're connected. They're not connected by any of the characters, but tone and a lot of, like, creative decisions and, like, they and a lot of, like, artistic decisions, they're linked.
I feel like I rewatched 28 Days Later the day before we went and saw 28 Years.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad I did because I was sober whilst watching it, too.
Whoa.
I forgot just how not disjointed is a bad word, but just like how much of an art film and how experimental of a movie that really is. And it definitely...
This movie is also very experimental.
Yeah, no, 28 years later and days, there's a lot of parallels. There's a lot of... There's a lot of...
I think a lot of people who aren't familiar with the series are going and expecting a dumb zombie movie.
That is what everybody's expecting. That 100%.
And that's the problem. They don't actually remember what the first one is.
Everybody watched that original trailer, with the boots and all this.
And I mean, like...
And Kick-Ass running through the fields and like...
I don't think that people who want that stuff will be disappointed, though, either, because this movie is also way more of a horror movie than the first one.
I would say that the first... So... how do I put it? Still, I don't want to talk about spoilers yet, just as far as like,
right?
To just still kind of like tell people out there. But I would say that this movie has, in my opinion, 3 very distinct parts. That in the first of those 3,
they're not created equal.
No, there is some differences. I would say the first of those 3, but the first third of this movie is the like fucking surviving in the zombie world like type.
Personally, it's my favorite part
of the first third.
Yeah,
I'd probably agree. Honestly, yeah. I think that even though the first third of this movie is probably like the best, most complete of the 3 kind of stories. Yeah. But there are moments later in the movie that I enjoy significantly more than like things in that first part. Like they're
no,
like,
I agree.
Yeah.
I will say we won't get into spoilers, but my favorite scene happens in this first third of the movie. Mm-hmm. It's my favorite sequence.
You've also seen this twice, right?
Yeah, I saw it twice. I've also been listening to the soundtrack.
Moving up and down again. Oh yeah, no, the soundtrack does rip.
The soundtrack is very good. It's by Young Fathers, who I had never heard of. But I love when a band gets to do a score for a movie. I'm a big fan of that. One of my favorite genders.
Progressive hip hop group. Oh my god.
Have you not heard them?
I have not heard of Young Fathers. No, now
I hadn't heard of them before. They're very good. If you listen to some of their stuff, you can definitely tell why they were chosen to score a movie, especially a movie like this, with Danny Boyle's specific tone that he's going for.
Yeah,
I just want to. Can we just start with the music?
Yeah, no, we can talk. We can talk about the music. But before you can, I feel like you're gonna have more to say about it. Just from what I remember, it is this super industrial but super rhythmic thing. It also has to do with how it's edited with the foot. And it's something I've seen people complain about is that there's all these. They put in these little intercuts of edited footage from not just old war footage, but old Ingmar Bergman.
There's footage from 28 Weeks Later in this movie.
Oh yeah, there is. They did put some of that in the crowd. But mixed together with
love that. I honestly, I'll say if can we get into spoilers?
Yeah, we can just start talking spoilers. The point is,
please see it. I really like it. Yeah, I really like it, except for some stuff.
Leave 3 minutes early, honestly.
Please leave. Yeah.
As soon as
when you feel like the story has resolved, leave the movie.
When you see the words 28 days later on the screen.
That's a good, honestly do that. But yeah, the music is it's so the music the score is also very experimental. It's super something I keep thinking of is there's a lot of very, very tense scenes that have this super serene, almost triumphant tone behind it, and then there are scenes when nothing's really happening, like the boots montage, which is my favorite scene in the movie.
Okay, that's your favorite scene. Interesting.
Yeah, the boots montage, they're kind of just walking, but it has this super tense and just terrifying music in the background to show he's just leaving an island, but this is your life is in danger every second you're out here.
You are now in zombie world.
Yeah, anywhere you're not looking, there could be some threat. And that montage, I wanted the whole movie to be edited like that. I know that that's off-putting to some people, but I strongly disagree with that because have you seen Natural Born Killers?
I have not. No.
The whole movie's edited like that. This movie is actually a really good companion to Natural Born Killers for me. The whole movie has that kind of you intercut footage to kind of demonstrate how someone's feeling or what someone means.
Yeah.
And it's super literal. We should watch Natural Born Killers for the show, honestly.
Yeah, that'd be a good episode. That'd be a good one to do with True Romance, because I've kind of wanted to talk about True Romance on the show too. And there's a thing where I know that Natural Born Killers was kind of heavily inspired by True Romance, so that would be a good one. But yeah, that's down the.
It's written by Tarantino, but Tarantino hates it.
Yeah, same thing with True Romance, actually.
Yeah. But it's honestly great. But anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, no, with the music in this movie, yeah, I just remember, I think it that scene in particular that you are talking about where they are coming in, to me, it brought my anxiety up in a great way.
Yeah, it's a great montage.
Man, they are fucked.
Yeah, I don't understand. I honestly, personally, I know this is I know I'm biased, but I honestly can't. That scene to me was just this is cinema. This is how you convey an emotion through a montage. This is amazing. It's my favorite part on second viewing too.
It was super effective at making me feel how I assume the boy feels.
Yeah,
in the situation, just so overwhelmed and especially because
the music's great.
They do some weird warping with the camera with their iPhone camera.
Yeah.
where when they first get over the hill and they see the world, and the kid's like, "Oh my god, does it go like if we go far enough, will we be able to see the ocean or whatever?" And he's like, "Yeah, but it goes farther than that," and it make the world just feel so big.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's fantastic.
And you just feel like there's nothing but death and pain and suffering.
Yeah, this whole world. This is a hell world. Well, this is a hell Great Britain, but we'll talk about that.
I think just in general, this movie has a really cool. I remember, I forget at what point. Really, it was like so my favorite section of the movie honestly might be the middle. Might be after the three sections of this movie is essentially as far like the way I see it is
the road.
The
beginning.
The beginning where it's The Last of Us, it's the father and son out hunting.
Which The Last of Us is just the road.
Yeah. And then the middle section is almost like this, I saw it as almost a, what's it called? Like a fairy tale fantasy kind of thing, because the kid talks to
it becomes a little more surreal.
Yeah, it becomes almost this fantasy, coming of age, adventure story where the kid is he brings his mother into the mother because there's tale of this doctor, Dr. Crazy out in the woods.
Yep.
Who favorite character in the movie when we get to it.
Yeah, he's great.
Dr. Ralph finds out there burning bodies for some reason, and this kid is like, "Oh, this guy's a doctor. Maybe he can fix whatever's sick with my mom." And it's kind of this thing where this the old man in the village tells him "Oh yeah, he's kind of a miracle worker type deal," and Aaron Taylor Johnson tells him this horror story about when he encountered him and saw him burning the bodies,
burning hundreds and hundreds of bodies in a field, and he kind of waved them down, so they just turned and ran.
They're building up all this creepy mythos around this doctor, and it's kind of this just intrigue, and the kid is fascinated by it. And just in general, I feel like a big theme in this movie is mythos and nostalgia versus reality.
It's kind of one of my favorite topics is mythology through history, and how we talked about this during the Sinners episode too. Mm-hmm. There was a time in history when magic was just real.
Yeah,
and reality wasn't such an objective stark thing. How you felt mattered. You would never think oh, it's just chemicals in my brain, or it's just there's no such thing as this or that. The world, when it's brought this low and this this kind of stark, it can become a lot more subjective and surreal, and I think Danny Boyle really uses that.
Yeah, no, you get to see the regression of kind of people sinking back into believing in myths, and as society has kind of crumbled and groups have gotten smaller, and you see the regression in something that these little details, you see all the boys and all the men are out learning how to hunt and shoot a bow and arrow, and all the women are teaching. It's almost is this an extension of this camp could be what the 28 Days Later soldiers. Yeah. This could be the future of
what they were working toward. Yeah.
What they were working towards, almost in a crazy fucking way. Yeah. But we should get into the plot. I think it'd be easier just to go through it.
Yeah. I really like the first scene. I'll say that.
Yeah. It bookends in a crazy fucking way.
Yeah. I like the first scene. I don't like what it sets up, but I like the first scene a lot.
Yeah.
I like the music.
Yep, it opens up in 2002, and immediately from the camera angles, I was like, "Ooh, Danny Boyle, Dutch angles."
They got the same DP,
same DP as well.
Yeah, and it shows, because I honestly we rewatched the first one as well, and I just love the way that movie is shot. It's so imperfect, but it's in such a deliberate way. And also, they shot it in 480p, except for the last scene where they shot on film.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this movie also, especially in this when it's 2001 and everyone's wearing 2001 clothes and there's a CRT TV playing Teletubbies, it feels just like the first one.
No, absolutely. It takes you. It's a nice takes you just right back into it.
Here's what it is originally, and then we're gonna change things from here.
Yeah, once again, it's a thing where it's like we're just ignoring 28 weeks later.
Yeah,
like we're
it's unimportant. Yeah, the
that vibe.
Does that text crawl happen after this scene or before?
The text crawl happens after that, and then it goes 28 years later. Yeah. So yeah, we get this opening with a boy named Jimmy and his little friends. His mom rushes him into the room. They're watching Teletubbies, and then
it's a scary fucking scene.
It is a scary fucking opening.
It's already setting like there's a higher level of fear. Like there's a lot of scary scenes in the first one, but for me this movie's way scarier, honestly.
Yeah, this is more of a horror movie than that first one for sure. The first one,
I always thought it was kind of weird when people called the first one a horror movie, but that you can't really argue with this one.
I feel like the first one's horror elements kind of stop at
it's not super interested in them.
Stops in the first third, really.
Yeah, once you get an understanding and it becomes
what's going on. Once Jim meets Selena and it. Yeah, but with this one, we get this horror opening. The kid goes to his father, who is the priest man, and he thinks that this is Judgment Day, and
zombies bust in that room and kill all those kids. By the way,
zombies bust in and fuck
and
up all them
it's
kids.
a super he's running out of this he lives with all these other adults in the same building, and they're all just going insane and killing each other and telling him to run, and it's honestly it's what horror's for.
Something with the rage, right? Courtney was saying one thing, while they were enjoying the movie in the first, they really enjoyed the first third of this movie.
Yeah,
was just how the rage virus is so fucking interesting.
It is
just on the pure fact alone of how fast you turn.
That's the scary part, and that to me, I've honestly been thinking about this today. Of you would think. It's not. I wouldn't call it a plot hole so much as maybe a missed opportunity for world building. The first movie is so focused on the virality of this zombie epidemic, how easily it can spread. A drop falls in Frank's eye and he turns. There's not really that element in this movie. I mean, you would think that with something so viral, at one point. Isla is washing her face in a river. I don't think that they would ever. I think that they would have a still making alcohol to sanitize sanitize themselves head to toe. I feel like they would be wearing masks and shit when they go off the island.
The risk
because if it gets in any orifice at all, if you touch a surface that it infected bled on or something, and then rub your eye, you're fucked.
Yeah. Well, I mean, most of the time they do stay on the island, which is a big.
It's true. I'm not saying it's a critique. I just think it might have been more interesting to
Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure we only see one person.
It doesn't really happen.
We see one person turn with one of the soldiers.
And it honestly feels like the soldiers in general, including Eric, were added after the fact because they could just be cut out and nothing would change.
They definitely feel kind of tacked on. They definitely only had Eric in there to be what's going on? Give us some droppings of what's going on in the real world, quote unquote.
It turns out it's just the real world.
Yeah, which people are getting their Amazon packages.
Yeah,
people have iPhones and shit. Which that's something that is the biggest pill that I remember Cordy and I were talking about as far as
it is.
That's honestly the most unrealistic thing. You're telling me that this giant country.
Yeah.
So this giant first world country in particular, full of white people.
Yeah.
The rest of the world for the last 3 decades has just been whatever.
Yeah, so as the text crawl says, and it's the big twist in the first movie, is the zombie plague is not worldwide. It's contained to Great Britain. In the second movie, at the end, it escapes, and that's the big
it escapes to
final reveal.
We see zombies in Paris,
and I guess the big. I guess 2 frames after that cuts to black, all those zombies just get gunned down because apparently it's easy enough to fight the rage virus back off of the mainland Europe and then just not go into to kill the rest of them in Great Britain. I guess
I think that
doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but
I feel like that really was just a thing of Danny Boyle being I don't want to erase 28 weeks later. Because that line right there makes it so that that happened, but it's not important to my.
It honestly, it doesn't. Movie. Yeah, it's a plot hole, you could say, but it doesn't really bother me considering how surreal the movie is. I don't think honestly, both of these movies, I feel like they're not super literal. So like picking out plot holes just doesn't really feel right for this franchise. It's more about the vibe. It's more about like the people.
Yeah. I was saying that I'm thinking of these movies kind of like Mad Max.
Right.
We're like
it's all subjective.
Yeah, George Miller doesn't really give a fuck about the continuity. It's really just
exactly. He wants to tell this story.
Yeah. But
you would think the rest of the world would at least be doing like aid drops, though. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah. But yeah, Jimmy gives Jimmy a crucifix necklace, and Jimmy runs away.
Yeah. And then, another scene where the music is like super serene. That song has been stuck in my head all day. By the way, the song from this opening scene.
Yeah, like I've only seen the movie once. It wouldn't. I mean, I don't remember the song probably because we saw this at the drive-ins.
Yeah.
And we were actually just like we had just come back from the snack bar when the movie started,
in. Right?
And we were still settling in and whatnot.
No, that's a great opening scene.
Yeah, but we skipped 28 years later. We get the text box
that was fought back from the mainland.
It was fought back with guns,
and then they just kind of stopped and said, "Fuck everyone in the UK."
We're just gonna leave them there. Not help at all in any other way.
I imagine it's like because I mean, like it's. I was talking to Avery about it. It's like, is this really like it's a hard pill to swallow? But on the other hand, like look at the world now. And, like, the one thing I was like, do you think the current administration would, like, be doing, like...
Help England? No.
There's no way to profit off of that. Like, and there would be people arguing to not go in everywhere. So it would just, I feel like it would just be like a quagmire and nothing would happen and they would just quarantine it forever.
I feel like if they wanted to in the sequels, I don't know if they're going to tap into this at all as far as, like, exploring more what the rest of the worlds look like. I feel like they could have a thing where like there is some kind of political movement to try to help Zombie Island. Like I'm sure.
Yeah, there probably is. There's like riots and shit.
Because something that I was thinking about when skipping a little bit when we get to Eric later on, Eric is being a real asshole about the people on the island in particular. So like, yeah, you guys are like you're a native, right?
Yeah,
to this island. You're
no one really knows anything about what's going on here.
And to me, that very much read to me as like Eric is like kind of like a red pillar type like alt-right, because I'm sure that like in the world of 28 of the 28 years outside, I'm sure there's like a lot of discussion as to like what do we think about Zombie Island, you know, almost like I think about like in Jurassic Park. There are like little scenes of that where people like just people in the world would be like, oh, politically, what do you think about Dino Island?
Yeah.
And if they wanted to kind of
he doesn't really have an opinion because he doesn't get into politics.
Yeah. Just as far as like, well, just the way that he talks about the island and the people on the island makes it seem like he's being socially. It makes it seem like Eric has been socially conditioned by the military, some kind of outside force, to be particularly prejudiced against zombie, which makes sense as far as like if whatever powers that be, Europe, whoever it is, want us not to go to Zombie Island, it would make sense that like in the outside like world, like the media would be working to like make people try not to give a shit about Zombie Island. But that's just like
I mean, but like just look at how I mean I don't think you're wrong. I think I look at it as like look at how people actually in the real world talk about like countries, like other countries in crisis that they view as like below us. Like that's exactly how he's talking.
That's the metaphor. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. That's the metaphor, and that's what's going on there. That's what they mean. It's just as far as like, it'd be interesting to see if they explore that in later movies. But I have no idea what the fuck they're gonna do. But we're gonna get to that after we talk about the plot. So it's 28 years later. We're introduced to this island.
Yep. Another cool song.
Another good song. This island community, in England,
Aaron Taylor Johnson makes his son some bacon.
Aaron Taylor Johnson brings son some bacon. Craven the Hunter rolls in. We get introduced to Spike, his 12-year-old son, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and we kind of get like a little montage of,
Yeah.
First, we're gonna get introduced to the mom. We hear the mom wailing upstairs.
Yeah, and at first you think, oh my god, she's a zombie, but she's not.
Yeah, no, my first thought was that she was like the mom in 28 Weeks Later, where it's like, oh, is she like a carrier, but maybe still has a little bit of the rage in her or something?
Nope. She's just kind of losing her mind.
She just has really bad cancer that has just not been treated whatsoever, which like...
Yeah, it's spread to her brain. Spoiler alert. We don't know that yet.
Spoiler alert.
But we kind of do.
That's kind of the end of the movie.
Aaron Taylor Johnson is just kind of waiting on her to die.
Exactly. It's kind of crazy that's another thing in this movie that I feel like is the theme of like mythos and reality is that like, you know, it's not a movie disease that she had. It's not something
they just don't know what it is because they don't have a doctor.
They don't have a doctor. They don't have the technology. And Ralph Fiennes is just like, yeah, it's just cancer. It just happens.
Yeah, this town just doesn't have a doctor. Yeah. So like we'll get to it later, but like magically, this child like thinks like, oh, a doctor can cure her.
Yeah, because as far as this kid knows, like, yeah, doctors heal. That's what they do.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's all he's been exposed to. But yeah, I think we can.
Yeah, no, everyone's super pumped for him to leave the island, go to the mainland.
Yeah, we can talk a little bit about. I just want to say it now, and I'm probably gonna say it again. I'm watching this kid's career from then on because this kid, Alfie Williams, who plays Spike,
it's impressive.
I don't know how old he is in real life. He's 14 in real life. He was fucking incredible in this movie.
He did a really good job.
Yeah, no, he he really brought, like, he was funny. He sold like the fear. He had this like amazing arc of like really kind of like coming into his own by the end of the movie, like in his own way. You know, because
the protagonist is a little boy. I was not expecting that.
I thought it was going to be the Aaron Taylor Johnson show, but like really, he's only a main character in the movie that is the first third of this movie.
Yeah. And he's great too.
Yeah, no, he's great. But yeah, Aaron Taylor Johnson is taking Spike out off the island to the mainland to become a man. It's like their manhood
Everyone's
ritual.
like patting him on the back, and they're like, "Go get him, buddy.
Go get him, Tiger." Like, but if you
throw a
die,
party for you.
See you.
Yeah. There's they meet up with like the island elders, and they make it very like here's the explicit rules, so the plot makes sense. You can go off the island, you can come back whenever, but no one's allowed to go off and try to find you and get you back because you've lost too many people that way.
If you're fucked, you're fucked.
Yeah. You're once you're gone, you're on your own, but you're welcome to come back whenever you can. Which is it makes sense for like why they would think that, and it also makes sense for what happens later in the story.
Yeah. So yeah, then we get the boots montage, which we talked about in the opening.
Yeah, it's a big scare. Like it's the song from the trailer. It was made for this movie. And I can see why they used it in the trailer because it's a big time trailer song. Yeah,
it also just like really matches with the themes of what it's talking about, and even like
he feels like he's coming of age and he's going to war.
Exactly, yeah, and like I said, it really helped like crank up that tension.
Yeah, but they cut in all this like war footage and some of the scariest shots, which is like red colorized night vision of infected and like deer.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Infected hunting animals and
those are the shots I've been thinking of the most. Is like that shit is scary as hell.
I'm excited to talk about we're pretty much about to just talk about it as far as like everything with the infected. In my opinion, is just fucking great. Like,
I love that there is so much creative potential for this concept, moving this so far in the future, and they like utilized it more than you would expect. Like they got really weird with it in like the best ways.
Yeah, because the first one you see is one of the crawlers.
The low slows.
And these things are like, they're fat, slow, and they just crawl on the ground and eat
They
worms.
are fucking gross.
Fucking gross.
There's like a whole, like, I want like a nature documentary about the infected in the Scottish Highlands. Like, yeah. They're like the interesting, like so much time has passed that the infected are now just part of the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Like these things crawl on the ground and they eat whatever they find, mostly worms.
Yeah, they are essentially they're animals now. Like they are.
They're just part of the which doesn't make a lot of sense if you think about it for longer than a couple minutes, but That's what. Note what I said earlier. It's fine. Just go.
The way
with
they execute in the movie. Well, the thing
it's
is
believable.
That makes what makes sense about it is that like most of the infected that we see in this movie have been infected for like decades, years. At this point.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's infected children. You know, like a lot of these infected were probably like born and then became infected quickly.
Yeah, a lot of them are starving, like they were at the end of the first movie. Oh, this movie, by the way, does kind of negate the hope at the end of the first movie, but it's fine. They still had each other, so I guess it's not completely obliterated.
Yeah.
But no. There's a lot of them are starving. I don't really buy that infected have children that like grow up to be more infected, because I feel like if an infected came across a baby, that it would just eat it or like throw it against a tree or something. I don't think they have maternal instincts. I think their brains are constantly flooded with a sense of rage. I think that's it.
Yeah,
I don't think an infected could raise a child, let alone feed it.
Don't we see some actual infected children like
Do we?
later on?
I guess there's an infected. I assumed that all the infected are from like villages that fall, and it just like replenishes the ecosystem.
Okay, maybe. Well, I mean, here's my only thing. Now we're talking about later. So the baby is
there's a baby.
Yeah, there's a baby is born from an infected. People at home.
One of the most shocking scenes in any movie I've ever seen.
That was. I never thought I'd see a fucking zombie give birth, but it does, and it gives birth.
And you see all of it.
And it gives birth. Yeah, you see all of it. It gives birth to this baby, and it's assumed that it's so. We haven't talked about alphas yet. There are big dicked zombies.
Yeah, the alphas is the alpha's baby.
They're my favorite part of the movie. The alpha Samson. It's his baby, and the presumption is he's chasing after them because he wants his baby back. That reads as parental instincts to me. You know,
I get, but the baby isn't infected.
Well, not infected yet, but my assumption.
I have. There's a mental block in me. I cannot see an infected holding a baby and caring for it.
Well, my assumption is like with the infected mom, for example, like pretty quickly that baby is going to get easily exposed, like breast milk or like whatever. Is
like I don't think people in their right minds could keep that baby alive out there.
I think that when it comes, here's the thing, because the infected woman, when she's giving birth, she doesn't attack cancer mom. You know,
but she does as soon as she's done.
What I'm saying is that like. How do I put it? Well, she still probably is. Well, she probably wasn't expecting people to look. What I'm saying is that like the infected in this movie show signs of a higher intelligence other than just being crazy animals.
Sure. Yeah, well, the alpha specifically, yeah.
The alpha in particular, but like maybe like there was a reason. Maybe the alpha.
Maybe that's why it has such a giant schlong.
Yeah, maybe it's why
because it's the only one who can impregnate others.
Yeah, he's fucking like his alpha sperm causes the pregnant zombies to be. I don't know.
My headcanon was because that woman was still wearing clothes. My headcanon was she was pregnant before she got infected.
She was naked, wasn't she?
She was wearing like the remnants of like a gown over her shoulders.
Okay, so yeah, you think she that makes sense. So
the way I understand the rage virus and the way I've heard like Alex Garland describe it's like your worst road rage times like literally like 5,000. Like you can feel nothing but like rage and maybe like hunger. Like you just want to kill anything that you see that's alive. So if any infected sees a baby and it's hungry, it's just gonna think it's food. I don't think they have the mental capacity to care for anything. That's like the whole difference between
the alphas can control. The alphas can control other infected though. Like Samson would probably roll up and be like, "Stay away from my baby."
Do you think Samson's gonna like hold the baby? Yeah, he's gonna hold the baby.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, because that's another thing too.
Yeah, and again, it's like I'm digging into plot holes and stuff. It's just it is open to interpretation.
I think that Joseph. I think that all families look different. I think that families come in all shapes, sizes, species,
level
of anger,
dick size.
Dick size. Yeah, oh my god. So like, I know you don't. You got to get a letterbox to me. I think you'd write funny letterbox reviews. I was reading every letterbox review was mentioned in the dick. 28 inches later.
Yeah, it's really good.
But what was I saying?
I don't disagree with you. I think that's a very valid way to interpret it. It's just in my head canon, these things, part of the tragedy of the rage virus is you lose all of your humanity.
I think the argument that Ralph Fiennes makes at the end is that these things are living things and they are still human.
Yeah. Well, I see them. I think he sees them personally. I thought he saw them as just like animals running around, and their lives were just as precious as anybody else's.
Yeah, as far as like in terms of animal equality, yeah, that's also
like he's talking about Samson, and he just leaves him like he's a valuable part of the ecosystem or something.
We'll see what happens. You know what? The next movie could open up with Samson coming back with like, I don't know, like a toy like or something.
Yeah,
his other zombie children.
He's like playing catch with in the field with a skull.
Catch, but yeah, it's a head. That's why he loves to rip. That's why the alphas love to rip the heads off. Yeah, just like see, son.
Yeah, because
it's a yo-yo.
They're getting toys.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
anyway, we've jumped ahead a lot, but
yeah, I want to talk about like the introduction of the alphas and the infected.
New special infected.
This shot and this whole sequence of like when the sun's going down and we see the tree and we see the infected start to come up like over the hill, right? Mm-hmm. But then we see one that's like 3 times taller than the other. And it's all like in shadow, and you see their eyes glowing. It's like this, and this one that's taller than the others too. Something that like all of them are jittering and doing the standard infected, like shaking.
Yeah,
but this one is much stiller.
Yeah, and the horde is on one side, and then he's just standing there
off to the side.
Yeah, it's just like this big guy just standing, and he's clearly like bigger than the rest of them.
Yeah. And then like the sound design around like the alpha and everything they do to like make the alpha feel like he like is an effect on the environment is insane.
Yeah, there's a shot later where he's roaring and just all these birds start flying toward the protagonist. Again, never explained. Doesn't really make any sense, but it's the vibes, man.
Yeah. I think I read somewhere somebody had like a fan theory that the alphas can like control animals or whatever, but like I don't know about that.
Do you think that the dad from 28 Weeks Later was an alpha?
The dad from 28 Weeks Later?
Yeah.
No.
He was smarter than all the other infected.
Didn't he just like fucking die right away or whatever?
No, you remember the dad, he I know we watched it a long time ago, but he
28 weeks.
Yeah, 28 weeks later, not days.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he gets infected, and then he stalks his kids for like the rest of the movie, and he's like showing like signs of intelligence way higher than all the rest. Do you think he was an alpha who just didn't get yoked yet?
No.
Well, no, I don't think it's it's a fan theory,
As far as like a fan theory, maybe
I think you could retcon that into making sense. I was thinking about that because he's none of the other infected, like all the infected that we see in the first movie, in all of them, they're just like animals.
I think that is like, I chalk that up to like, I'm definitely under the opinion that the infected have more humanity than we're led on to believe. Like as far as like, and I think that in the particular case of Robert Carlyle in that movie, like his love for his kids and his attachment to his kids like rises just to the surface as much as like his infected brain.
Yeah, he's trying to kill him the whole time.
Well, he's just trying to get to them, and then the rage virus like won't let him like be a good dad.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. I think part of what makes
his dick wasn't big enough to be. That's
true. Well, no, I mean, I didn't assume like that. It's like
that's all you need.
Like Jekyll and Hyde, and like they don't like get yoked immediately. I took it as like one every like fucking 1,000 infected just gets like this different effect on it. It just has a different effect on their brains and their body. Mm-hmm. And he was pretty strong. I don't know. That's my headcanon. But for me, I like the idea of them having more humanity, But for me, I like to go the other way, where it's like the part of what makes this world seem so hopeless, and part of like what makes finding hope in loving each other, like the core theme is once you turn, it's just over. Like you have lost all human dignity. You've lost every part of yourself. Like if there is a part of yourself still in there, it's buried too far down to ever show up again. That's what I prefer. I think that adds to the horror of it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, and that's fair. I've always thought of most zombies as like the thing, and that what's scarier to me is the idea that like the person is inside there, but it's like a get out situation where it's like they can't control what they're doing, like they're a prisoner in their own bodies type deal. I see it more as like a worse kind of, like if your loved one dying, but like way worse because now you have to look at them like this. And I guess that can also carry over to the other way of looking at it. But anyway, I don't know.
We got off on a tangent.
Yeah, it's a thing. Like maybe Danny Boyle will tell us down the road. Nia DaCosta, who's directing the next one. It's
it's open to interpretation.
Yeah, but we get the introduction of all these infected. They get chased into a old broken down house, and Aaron Taylor Johnson and Spike are hiding in the roof in the attic.
They shoot some zombies in the head, and we get these cool like freeze frame camera move. I thought that I would think that was stupid, but it's too cool to not like, and it also adds to like these moments are now being frozen in Spike's head as like trauma.
Yeah, no, it looks pretty cool as far as like just from I definitely never saw anything, and you've seen images of the rig that they used for that, right?
Is it the same as The Matrix? Because that's what I assumed. It's just a bunch of cameras.
I don't think so. Well,
right
in this case, it's a bunch of iPhones. I gotta. It's kind of
that's funny. Yeah, because there's another shot of a couple of infected in the first scene that uses the same effect, and that seems also burned into my head.
1 second, my laptop's being slow.
It's okay.
I have too many fucking tabs open. It's not. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, wait. 20 years later, why don't you let me look it up? iPhone rig. Wait. I want to find the specific. It's like...
Oh, shit. No, that's exactly what I pictured. Yeah. That is literally exactly what I had in my mind.
Yeah, just a bunch of iPhones rolling around.
They all take pictures at the same time.
I think as far as, like, Danny Boyle with his inherently kind of experimental style, like, it fit with what he was doing.
It works for the rest of the movie.
I was indifferent with it. None of those shots were, like, my favorite moments in the movie.
No, me either.
I will say. Like, it was a cool artistic flair, but... they're not what sticks out in my head. They're hiding in this roof for a while, waiting for the evicted to go away. And also, Aaron Taylor Johnson has given us the lowdown on like the alphas and like how like we ain't gonna be able to fight that motherfucker. And then they see a bonfire happening out in the woods. They see a big fire somewhere, and Spike like, what's that? And Aaron Taylor Johnson's kind of pissed off, like, I don't know, fuck off, I don't know anything.
I don't want to talk about it.
I'm lying.
I've never been there. Leave me alone. I'm lying, obviously.
My bad, Dad.
Yeah. I think Aaron Taylor Johnson, up until the point later that he's not a good dad, is a good dad. I think he slips up in a really big way later, but I don't think that he's a bad
he hits
dad.
His son.
He's a bad husband. But
which, by the way, this is the year of eating pussy. By the way, because
it sure is.
That's
and
what
dick in movies.
Sinners and fucking like that's the new blowjob in movies. I think.
Yep.
But yeah, no. So yeah, okay. Fine.
We get these giant stampede of deer.
He does just want what's best for his son at this point. But yeah, so like,
and he clearly like cares for his son, and he just I see that hit later as a moment of weakness. It's not forgivable, but I think it's. Yeah. I think he's just a complex character.
Another thing to remember too is that like him and his wife were both like kids.
Yeah, and he was raised in this like super like
world. Yeah,
you have to turn your mind off to so much empathy to even be alive at this point, and that's a big point in the first movie too. You have to like just lose pieces of yourself. And like Spike is still a kid, so that hasn't happened to him yet.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, so after the Lepka cottage collapses, they blew up the cottage or something, didn't they? I forget exactly.
No, deer. So there's these giant flocks of, like, these giant herds of deer because they've no one's hunting them anymore, and the only thing killing them is infected. So now there's these huge roaming
the house.
Herds of deer, and one does a herd does a stampede by the house, which might be caused by the alpha, considering, I don't know, it has like command of the animals somehow.
Yeah, it has Tarzan powers.
Yeah, because I thought that is a weird, like, of all days for this house to collapse.
Of all the things to help them escape.
Yeah.
It's this big stampede. But, it collapses, and then they fucking haul ass to the mainland.
Yep.
Thinking that they escaped Alpha.
Yeah, there's a causeway that they can only cross during low tide. Mm-hmm. Which, honestly, plays a smaller role in the movie than you would think, but
yeah, I mean, well, it's what keeps the island like safe.
Yeah, it makes sense, but like the whole like timed element of like we have to get there during low tide. It doesn't really.
For me, the biggest thing that did was just help as far as like in the visual and sound design elements, as far as like when this because this is like one of my favorite parts. So yeah, they think they're fine.
Mm-hmm. They're walking, and the music is like kind of peaceful, and the sky's really beautiful and bright, and there's no light pollution, so you can see the galaxies.
Aaron Taylor Johnson is like really fucking gloating, like, yeah, my son, like you
killed him, giant sailor.
Yeah, did such a good job. Hell yeah, we're gonna make it back. And then you see these clips of the Alpha in the woods, fucking
it's just there's these sends these birds that are, I don't know if they're scared of the Alpha or what, but they arrive before the Alpha does, and
I'm never going to forget the sound and feeling of its fucking footsteps.
Yep.
Just this consistent...
It's just sprinting. This giant guy is just sprinting at you. And these giant splashes in the water, and that's like all you can see from these like...
And the splashes, too. It sounds like he's fucking running on the water.
Yep. And the music has this like weird serenity to it, and like... It's like victory is so close... But and it's like swelling. It's one of the most tense scenes in the movie.
No, it really is. Like they're about to get got. They make it.
I thought Aaron Taylor Johnson was going to die in this scene. To be
thought
honest.
he was going to get his asshole torn apart by the by the Alpha. Yeah,
because they rip their victims' heads and spines out like fucking Scorpion or whatever.
Yeah, the first time we see is it rips a deer's head off, right?
Yeah, and sticks it in a tree.
As like a marking of territory type situation.
Yeah.
But we forgot a little detail, just a small thing. They find an infected guy. They find a guy strung up who's freshly infected with like Jimmy
written on his head. That's another tense. There's a lot of very scary tense scenes in this movie.
Yeah. But yeah, they make it back to they're getting to the fence or the guard post or whatever. And the people are. The Islanders are shooting at the Alpha, and it's not doing shit. They're shooting at the ass.
And it falls down, then it gets up and goes, ah!
Yeah, and it's fucking scream like arrow. This thing is arrow immune. And basically
it's got a way bigger health bar. Is really just the sum of it.
But then they blow it up. I think they shoot.
Like they shoot a giant the Smaug arrow through its chest,
and kind of like blow.
Finally
its head
kills
up.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the way that kills it. But it's really. Intense scene, but narrow escape.
There's a really cool like they're singing a bar song. Mm-hmm. They keep cutting to it, and at the moment right before the melody resolves, it holds that note for a really long time while they're like trying to get into the gate, and then as soon as they do, that resolves, and you just feel this like relief. It's just good filmmaking. This whole movie.
Oh yeah, no, it's really Danny Boyle's an auteur here. He's showing off.
He's so stuff. Good.
Yeah. So they're back at the camp, the island, and it's a big celebration, like you said.
Yep. It's a celebration in Spike's honor, and he's being a real weenie about it, in my opinion.
The thing is, like, his dad is talking up like all of this bravado and all this thing. Like, yeah, my son, this thing was coming at us, and he shot it right between the eyes. And all this stuff. But he's lying.
But everybody knows he's lying. The whole point is like, look at the legend of this guy.
Well, I don't think that's the. I mean, here's the thing, though. I think maybe the adults know that.
It's no.
But like, as far as like the other kids, they're being fed the same kind of bullshit that.
Yeah, it's like war stories glorifying it. Yeah. No, but it's like it is. I listen on like a logical level. I get it. Like he is lying and he's spreading propaganda about like his beautiful war story. It's going to make more kids want to go off the island and do it. But just have fun, man. Come on. Everyone knows it's just for fun. I don't know.
He's fucking traumatized.
Enjoy it. Yeah, I guess.
Like he just experienced what is actually like it was actually just like a shitty, like terrifying near-death experience that like
and he killed somebody. He killed like 2 people.
Yeah, and it wasn't glorious. And he says to the old man, like, you know, like I killed a fat one and I killed one that was tied up, but like these other ones that were chasing after us, the arrow just whizzed right by. Like he's what's it called? Like he's feeling the sense of disillusionment. His dad is like lying to him. You know, another thing is that
it's all a coming of age story. It makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, no, and it's like it's this thing. That's where I say like this movie is for me really is about like the growing up in the sense of like, you know, there's the way you want things to be, and there's the way things are.
Yeah,
you know, and like
true.
There's like this kind of like in terms of like just, you know, accepting death. And accepting
that your parents are flawed people,
you know, and all that stuff, and like all this, and you know, that's really what it's about. And I think this is just to showcase, like, like Aaron Taylor Johnson is like showboating and like putting his kid on a pet as somebody who like experienced.
But it's you know, it's out of love for his kid, you know. That's how I took it. He seemed to love his kid throughout. Like there was never any indication that he clearly has fallen out of love with his wife.
Yeah.
But he has a lot of love for his kid. You can see it. Like he doesn't want him to feel bad. He doesn't want him to feel scared. He just wants what's best for him. Yeah. And in his eyes, that means becoming a warrior like he is.
Yeah. But during the celebration, Aaron Taylor Johnson sneaks off with another woman, and Spike kind of follows him and sees Aaron Taylor Johnson eating the puss.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. It's the year of that between Sinners and this, and then there was another movie, Hell of a Summer, a horror movie that came out where like eating pussy was a big element of it, and
it's everywhere, man.
What did I saw something else where like that was a that was in the plot, like a girl got eaten out. What was it? But anyway, yeah, 2025, the year of going down.
The year of the female orgasm.
The year of the female orgasm. The year that the clitoris became acknowledged. This isn't a show for. I always mark these as explicit, but this is not a show for children. But
children shouldn't watch this movie either.
Shouldn't watch the movie, especially with all the nudity. My word.
Yeah. Oh my god, all the dong.
All the alpha dong. Yeah, but fucking so he sees his dad, and then Spike goes to talk to the old it's not his uncle, he's just like the old man in the village who's like helping out with his mom. Yeah, just nice old man, and tells the old man what really happened, and then Spike asks him about the fire that he saw,
and he's like, "Oh, that was probably Dr. Kelson.
That's old Ben Kenobi living out there, living out there beyond the Dune Sea." Literally,
kinda. Yeah, it's kind of the same character.
Yeah, but basically, and this kid is Luke Scout. Wait, hold up. First of a planned trilogy. Hold on.
Oh God.
Wait a minute. Yeah, no, and fucking Aaron Taylor's like, yeah, don't go see that crazy doc. Don't go see that Obi-Wan. He's lost his mind.
Yeah, this is that was for selfish reasons when Luke did it.
Yeah. Shit. Sorry, I'm just thinking about like are there other New Hope comparisons?
Dude, Jimmy's his father.
Jim. No, Samson's his father. No.
Oh my God.
I am your father. Oh, and the baby is Leia. the baby is Leia, and he's gonna fight. And then Samson is gonna be like,
"This is all making way too much sense."
He's like, "Is that why me at 12 years old has a 7-inch dick? Is that why my dick?"
I always wondered.
Yeah, I always wondered what it was for. Oh God. Oh, fucking A. Anyway.
Old man tells him there's a doctor, so he's like, "Oh shit! Well, there's a doctor. My dad knows there's a doctor, and he's not trying to get my mom help, and he's cheating on her. What the fuck?
What the fuck? He's being a shithead dad."
Yeah.
But yeah, basically he confronts his dad, being like, "Hey, you lied to me, but the doctor also, you're cheating on mom. You're a piece of shit." They get into a big old fight. And yeah, Jimmy tells him the story.
When he brings up the, yeah, you're right. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, an important scene as far as, like, he tells him the story about seeing Dr. Kelson, and I like how they, like, kind of intercut this little story too, because the first shot you see of fucking Lord Swoldemort in this movie is, like, you see, like, him pulling the carriage of bodies, and you see
he's orange.
And he's orange. He's the Lorax.
Why is this man orange?
We'll find out later.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's in throwing these bodies in the fire, and Aaron Taylor Johnson's like, yeah, he was throwing the body in the fire, and he waved, and we were like, I'm never going back again.
There's just this field of hundreds of dead bodies. Which he's presumably, like, pulled out of, like, the suburbs.
Yeah, it's a thing where it's like, I remember when we were watching the movie, me and Courtney were both like, well, I wouldn't think of that as inherently nefarious.
I would think it was, I wouldn't want anything to do with that guy. I will be real, though. I probably wouldn't come down when he waved.
Like, my first thought, yeah, exactly. But like, my first thought wouldn't be like that he's doing something bad. Like, in my head, I'd be like, yeah, like maybe he is, like, I don't know, trying to clean up for, like, biological. Maybe he's studying. I don't know. Like,
I know I wouldn't want anything to do with that guy if I saw that.
In this world, a man just burning bodies is, like, not the craziest, scariest thing.
Yeah, but like
people doing.
He's got them all like late. But anyway, yeah. But it is the worst line delivery in the movie, though. When Aaron Taylor Johnson goes, "Yeah, we got out of there."
Yeah,
that is the worst line delivery in the movie.
Yeah. I'm trying to.
But yeah, he brings up that his dad is cheating on his mom, and then his dad hits him.
His dad hits him.
He's like, "Well, then fuck this island."
Yeah, fuck this island. Around this time, I don't remember exactly. Like I said, I've only seen this once. Mm-hmm. Exactly when, but we see a squadron of soldiers come upon the mainland.
It happens a little later, but we can talk about it now because it doesn't matter. Yeah,
just this like quick little scene of that. I mean, it's a good little like infected scene, and it had me intrigued for a moment. I'm like, what are the soldiers doing there? Because like initially, I'm like, are they there to like try to steal an infected, or are they there to try to save?
Nope. Like, they're just fucked like everybody else.
Yeah, we find out that like their boat like crashed or whatever, and
once you're on the island, it's quarantined, so you're stuck there.
But yeah, they get taken down by all the infected. I think they run into Samson, and Samson fucks their shit up.
Rips off one of their heads.
Yep, it's really cool.
And only one escapes.
One escapes. But yeah, then we so and then we come back to Spike sneaks his mom out. He does like a little. I forget what the distraction was exactly.
He sets a building on fire.
Oh yeah, he sets a building on fire, and then he takes his mom out to the mainland, and she's.
Now we have a story where one character is a literal 12-year-old boy, and the other is a woman who has dementia. So now we can get as surreal as we want, and it all makes sense. Like, no one has to make decisions that make like adult sense, and everything they see can be taken with a grain of salt, which is great. Like, it's a perfect setup.
Yeah. No. Now he's trying to take his mom to see the doctor to heal her with his magic doctor healing powers.
Mm-hmm.
But while we're out and about, let's see. They come across some infected and go into a gas station. Yeah, they go into a gas station.
I think before that, they have a nice little like moment sleeping in the church.
Oh yeah. Can't forget about that scene.
They actually you could tell if these characters care about each other.
Mm-hmm. And the scene where they talk and she tells them a story about like her dad and how like her dad was like all serious, but around her he was goofy or whatever.
And his dad isn't really like that.
Yeah, and there's just some wonderful act. I don't think it's in the writing. I think it's really in the acting between Jodie, what's her name, Jodie Comer and the Alfie, where like they have a moment. There's like a little moment in there where he like makes a face at his mom, and she makes a face back. Where I'm like, that is such like a kid.
Super cutesy, yeah.
But it's such a realistic like thing between a mother and her child.
Yeah, it's a real mother-son relationship that they're trying to do.
Yeah, and just overall, I think every performance in this movie is great. Like even the smaller characters.
It's great that they gave her dementia because any other mother would have been like, "What the fuck are you doing? We need to go back home right now."
Yeah, the fact
that they literally wrote it in the only way that makes any sense.
Yeah,
of like how he could even do this.
Her not being lucid totally makes it makes it make sense.
Yeah, but that's the night that he falls asleep on watch, and we see a slow-lo come up and try to eat his shoelace.
Yeah,
and it's the music. I'm gonna stop bringing up the music because we've already passed like all the biggest moments.
No, you talk about it as much as you want.
But the way Young Fathers, they came up with this sound in the soundtrack for the low slows. And oh my god, a gangsta. Oh, well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later.
That's gonna be like its own whole thing.
That took me aback. Anyway,
you're talking about the music, the slow-lo.
Yeah, the slow-los. They have this sound. This is a small, really tiny detail, but they have this sound in all the pieces devoted to these that just sounds like nausea. Like it's like this pathetic. It's the perfect sound to accentuate these characters and just how these monsters and just how like disgusting and like revolting they are and pathetic. Yeah. So go listen to the soundtrack and tell me you don't feel sick at those those sounds. It's like the perfect sound. It's like a little detail, but it's so well done that it just sticks in my brain really well.
Yeah.
But it tries to use a shoelace and it spits it out, and then it gets really, really close to his sleeping face, and it's very scary. And
then there's like a quick cut where we see it get snatched away, but not by what.
Yeah, and we're like, oh my god, was it the doctor?
At first, I thought it was Samson. Like maybe it was like a Samson thing, or so. I thought we were gonna get. You know what I legitimately thought? I thought we were going to get a friendly infected type. I thought we were going to get like a dog infected or something. You know
that would have been dumb as hell.
For a moment, that's what I thought. But then
that would have ruined this movie way before the movie ruined itself.
Yeah. We see the dead body of the fat zombie, and the mom's like, I wonder what did that. And then we flash back and we see that she's the one who killed.
Beat its head against a wall. Yeah,
beats the shit out of this fucking thing.
And he slept through the whole fucking thing somehow.
Yeah, which I remember thinking, like, no, that kid would be a much lighter sleeper.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, he was tired, I guess.
Yep.
But yeah, no, just a really cool, like, I just liked it as far as, like, it's showing just, like, how protective and great of a mother she is, but, like,
they care for each other. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, so then, and then that's when we get to the, they run into some infected, they get chased into the gas station, and,
with magical gas that hangs high in the air. That when it explodes, you're fine.
Yeah, when it explodes, you're fine. Well, they were behind the thing. That's
were they behind something?
They were behind the counter. Yeah, they were behind the gas station counter.
But long story short, they go into this gas station that it was a shell, but the S is missing, so now it says hell.
Hell.
Which,
a little details there. A little Danny being like, hey.
But it's full of this gas, benzene, I think. Mm-hmm. And like the zombies are pouring in, there's no exit, they're definitely going to die, and this soldier that they haven't met yet opens the top hatch and fires into it, igniting the gas and burning up all the zombies.
Yep,
but they drop to the ground,
but not Spike and Isla.
Like I'm like, what? Well, their backs could have at least been like singed, like their hair could have been singed, because like the whole. Like, it ignites the gas, and the whole building fills up with, like, flame for, like, as the gas burns up.
Yeah, it's a big pill to swallow.
It is. I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to go too hard on plot holes, but this one has, like, a very specific scientific explanation that they try to give it after, so I kind of can't ignore it.
Physics-wise, and I think this is the scene right after this. We get introduced to Eric, and Eric's like being a dick. Like, what the fuck? Where do we
Eric's
go?
Eric's my least favorite character.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit.
He's annoying. He's just like a kid.
Yeah. But after that,
he's the soldier who escaped earlier. By the way,
we get this little scene that like I want to bring up, especially because the conversation earlier we were having about the infected. We see I think this is where the scene is, but we see the infected bathe themselves. We see them like
kinda.
Yeah, they're in a river, and
they're in a river, but they're kind of just like splashing around. One of them's like throwing rocks. They're like drinking.
they're drinking, but also there are some of them that are like trying to. They're shaky, but they're trying, and that's when we see the pregnant infected. I remember that's when we see the pregnant infected come around like the corner, like in the scene. But like we see, there's a scene where like they're by this water and they're all just like.
But they're all so dirty all the time. Is the thing?
They're not good at cleaning themselves.
Sure, yeah. I don't. Yeah.
But to me, that definitely showed like okay, they have like some kind of like they are forming some kind of groupthink society type.
Sure, yeah. They're like a whole species of animal out here,
Yeah. But yeah, so Eric basically like we already said, lame reason for like. In my head, when he said, like, yeah, we crashed here, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But I was hoping that they were on some kind of mission or something. Like, they had some kind of...
No, like I said, like, it feels like Alex Garland just, like... This is his thing, like, he likes bringing characters in and then getting rid of them as you, like, go on this journey. And I like that, too. But I don't... This character feels like he didn't... Like, I'm spending the entire time watching Eric being like, what is the point of this guy in this story?
Eric only exists to give us a little bit of info on what the rest of the world's doing. I think that's his only purpose.
And I don't care.
Let us know that there are iPhones.
It's exactly what I assumed. Like the world's just going on as normal as the guy says in the first one.
And there's I don't know, they have some nice little like funny moment. I really like the moment.
He's a comedy character.
He shows he shows Spike a picture of his girlfriend if it is his girlfriend.
She's got a bunch of plastic surgery,
and she has like lip filler, and he's like, oh, is she allergic? Like, is she having an allergic reaction? Like, what's going on?
He's like, what's wrong with her? And he's like, what are you talking about? She's beautiful.
And it's just because because Spike doesn't know, he's never seen anybody with any kind of like surgery or anything.
Yeah, most of what Eric says is for laughs, so it's almost like he's just like to bridge this gap so we can have more character development with Spike and his mom. We're just having another character in here.
Yeah. Also, he carries Spike's mom as well because she's having her bouts.
And then she can just walk again. Which is he's like, what the hell? She could walk.
Yeah, and then she's
pretty funny.
Because it comes in waves, like she says. But then we have the encounter with. The encounter with the pregnant infected, which we talked about before, was crazy scene. Never thought I'd see that in a movie.
Yeah. It's like in so much pain that it forgets. It tries to attack Isla at first, but then it's just so in pain that she puts her hands out and the infected clasps her hands, which is evidence toward your theory.
Yeah. I think that like the longer that they're infected, they're evolving. Like the virus itself is evolving as well. Like not just like it's not the same disease that it was 28 years ago. COVID, like there are multiple versions of COVID, bro.
That's fair.
There are multiple variants.
I saw it as
this is the big dick variant.
my interpretation of that is with that much pain. It drowned out the rage in her brain, and it brought it like that even more primal feeling of connection with other human beings for that brief moment that she was in that much pain. Because after she gives birth, she passes out for a while, and she just gets up and like tries to attack him again. While the baby's right there, like tries to attack. I mean, it could be because she's holding the baby, but I don't think so. We're taking a while to get through this plot, and that's mostly my bad. I have a lot of thoughts about this movie.
No, it's okay. That's fine. I knew this would be a long one. We're about to get to the best part of this. Yeah. So Isla helps this pregnant infected give birth. It gives birth to
and the baby's not infected.
A seemingly healthy baby.
Yep.
Which was it? Ralph Fiennes has some theories about that later, but we'll look to that when we talk about him. But yeah, it gives birth to this baby, and the infected mom. I thought she died in childbirth, but she just
she gets up and attacks.
If she gets up and tries to attack Isla, and Eric shoots the shit out of her. Eric
starts freaking out about the baby being infected too.
He's like, "We got to get rid of that baby. It came out infected. It's dangerous. It's a contagion."
Seems really stupid because it doesn't even have teeth.
I mean. It doesn't need teeth. It pees and poops and drools and
sure.
I I'm not saying that I'm on Eric's side.
I understand.
But I understand where Eric is coming from.
Yeah, no one really makes any decisions that don't make sense in this movie.
Yeah, like I completely understand why
I would be as cautious. I would be more cautious. Like I said, like you were talking about the infected bathing in that river. Isla like washes her face with water from a river. That's what I was like. This is such a dangerous virus. Like you would think that like cleanliness would be one of those values that they're trying to instill in all these kids as they're coming up. You know, like sanitation.
Yeah, I guess it's not one they're thinking about.
No.
But yeah, what is it? So yeah, while this
the alpha shows up. Yeah.
The alpha shows up and fucking
rips.
pulls Eric up.
Can I just say, you mentioned the sound design with the steps from the alpha. The sound of both every time this, because it happens like 3-4 times when an alpha pulls a spine out of a person.
Yeah.
The sound of that is
like wet, kind of
perfect. It's like a Beyblade, dude.
Oh man, what a fucking comparison.
What if Eric's body just started spinning really fast when he pulled that out?
Yeah, but yeah, no, the alpha comes down into they're in like a train car or like a bus car or something.
Yeah, and you get a real good look at his giant dong.
You get a great, the most well lit. It's flopping everywhere. It is I did look up all the dicks were prosthetic.
I knew it.
Yeah, no way, it's real.
Yeah.
This is the moment where we see a little bit of like this alpha, which we learn is named Samson, which we learn in literally a minute. It pauses for a second and pauses at the pregnant infected, and he looks all angry, and presumably like that was
it lifts. I mean, but here's what makes me think that it can't care for anything. Like it is his kid, and that's like his mate or whatever. But he lifts up the dead body, looks at it, and then just drops it.
Well, why do you think? I mean, well, here's the thing. Like because
I think he's territorial.
Like no, as far as like what was I gonna say? Having emotions and like having like respect and everything, like just because like he lifted her like a sack of potatoes and dropped her just as equally doesn't mean he didn't care, you know. Just like
I think he just has rage. I think he's territorial. Like
I mean, he cares because he gets more angry when he realizes like fuck, they killed my woman and
that's true.
They have my baby.
They got I just think of it as like a bear, like a territorial animal. Like you killed its mate, so now it's extra mad because you can't fucking do that, man.
That's love. What is love if
that's
not
possession? Like, I don't know if that's love.
What is love if not killing the murderers of your infected cave woman mate?
That's true. That is in my wedding vows.
Yeah, and chasing after your baby.
Yeah,
you're not infected birth of baby.
True.
But yeah, so they the alpha chases Spike and Isla until Kelson appears. I thought it got shot. I thought maybe another soldier was in, but like the alpha stops in its tracks. It got a blow dart to the neck, and Orange Fine, Lord Swoldemort himself, Ralph Fiennes.
He comes out and he's all goofy and fun.
He's all goofy and fun, and he's like, "Oh, hello, yes, it's a morphine. Yes, this is Samson."
Quite fast acting.
Yeah, it's quite fast acting. I've been tracking him in this area, and I'm like, immediately like,
he's been in this area for like 3 years.
Like just the idea of like, oh my god, he's like studying the infected, and he's like tracking them, and he's like immediately, I'm like, oh, he's gonna be my favorite character, and
he's like constantly like. He's like learned like their herd movements and shit, so he can get around.
He studies the infection, and the reason why he's orange is because he covers himself in iodine, and he says like, yes, the infection hates iodine.
Yeah, it's a great prophylactic, but mostly it's just to make him look orange and make him look weird for the movie.
Stand out because he is.
Yeah, he looks cool. It's a cool visual.
Yeah, and he
looks different from. I mean, like it adds to like he's the first person not from the island that Spike has ever met, so he's gonna look weird and different and jarring, right?
Yeah, like more non-islanders we meet at the end of this movie.
Yeah, which is part of what took me aback earlier, but we'll get to that.
So this is what I consider like the third part of the movie, where it's like basically Spike and the Doctor.
This is the emotional core of the movie right here.
Emotional core. So the Dr. Kelson takes Spike and his mama to the Bone Temple, which he created. It's basically like
the Memento Mori.
Memento Mori. He explains it. It's basically like an art installation.
It is
to remember those who have died, and
it
like
gives him purpose.
And it's kind of a thing where it's like it's very clear that like this man, who was like a man of science, like he was a doctor. Like this is his way of coping with how things are in the world.
Yeah,
now,
I think it's so cool that this skull tower is so scary in all of the promotional material, and it's so strange and alien looking. And then once you watch the movie and you understand it, it's actually like a really beautiful, like happy thing that he's made. And it's a perfect metaphor for like, because if you don't know anything about the movie, that's a scary image. But then when you watch the movie, it's a like beautiful piece of art, commemorating.
Yeah, no, and the fact that he's like infected and human alike, like I used to. Those things, and it's really he's a chill guy, it's like Mr. Myrtle at the end of Sandlot, he's cool.
You thought he was scary, but he's actually really nice. He's made he has a lot of lines that are just like beautiful sentiments.
In the trailer, I do remember the first time I saw the trailer and I saw Ralph Fiennes and like the gang rolling up into that temple and like
with the torch.
I thought a boss fight was about to occur.
I thought it was gonna be the cult from Last of Us 2.
I thought it was gonna be like the bone infect. Like there's gonna be like an infected with like using bones as tools or something as weapons. I don't know. Basically, so then Spike was like, "Hey, my mom's sick. Fix her." And then the doctor gives her a pretty basic like exam, gives her a breast exam, gives her does like asks all these gives her he doesn't have any resources, but he's still a doctor, he still has medical knowledge, and he's like, yep, he even says, and I like, and it's something Courtney mentioned as far as like they really like this detail is that he says like I don't have any equipment, I don't have any modern stuff, but like I think it's cancer, and I think it's metastasized in your brain and in your breasts. And,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yep, and sorry.
It's spread to your brain, and I'm really sorry. And this, he's so good. Ralph Fiennes he's the best actor in this movie for me.
Oh no, he's incredible.
Because Spike asks like, "Is she gonna die?" And he's like, "Yes." And you can see that like pain that he has. Like, this is his responsibility to tell this kid this, and he doesn't. He's not gonna hold it back.
He's gonna be in the sequel, and it's already confirmed that he like Ralph, and it's called the Bone Temple.
The Bone Temple.
That's what the name of the sequel. Which is
I don't like that.
Is already filmed, by the way. They filmed it back. They filmed it back. I thought you knew this.
I didn't.
Yeah, no. So
Nia DaCosta.
Nia DaCosta, who the most notable thing she has directed is the Candyman reboot.
Okay.
In like 20, which I like that movie.
I haven't seen it. She did The Marvels.
I've never seen The Little Woods. But Candyman is the most notable thing I've seen that's like, okay, it's a solid horror movie.
I want it to be good so bad, but I foresee a path where this movie is ass, and we don't get another 28 days movie for another fucking 30 years.
It's still written by Alex Garland. Like, literally.
Yeah. It's just, I hope it's
shot
good.
back with its predecessor 28 years later. Yeah, no, it's already shot.
I'm not a big fan of the direct continuation of this story. I like this series being an anthology.
Really? I mean, this movie sets it up as... No,
there's a lot you can do with this world.
It's very clear that, like, no, there is more shit with these characters coming.
No, I foresaw them continuing with these characters. I just don't like it.
I thought you already knew that it was the first part of a trilogy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. No, like I went into this movie knowing that it was the first part of a new trilogy.
Nuts. Yeah. Well, I hope it's good. I really do.
I thought you knew. I asked you earlier if you knew that. Shit.
Nope. I must have had my brain off.
Yeah, but no, they had announced that so everybody's coming back. Cillian Murphy.
I might have thought you were talking about the trilogy of days, weeks, and years.
No. There is a new 28 years trilogy. And the sequel, which has already been filmed, The Bone Temple, is coming out next year. And then the third one...
I'm getting Star Wars vibes, man. I don't...
And then the third one, January 25, Boyle confirmed that he would direct the final film in the trilogy. Yeah, it's a plan. Like, so they Garland serving as screen for... I've got faith mostly because, like, Alex Garland, he wrote out the whole trilogy. Like, it was planned from the jump.
Okay. So, listen... I'm a cynic. Everyone listening knows how cynical I am, especially about.
You're just afraid because Danny Boyle ain't in the driver's
That
seat
is a really
time.
big part. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing for
That
you.
is a really, and I haven't really seen any of the movies the new director's done, and I know the Marvels wasn't very well received.
The Marvels got way too much hate.
I didn't see it.
Opinion. I'd say, well, next week let's do a Candyman episode instead.
I'm down.
No, I still want to do what was it? Chronicle Akira.
Yeah,
that's gonna be heat.
That'll be sick.
That's what we're doing.
Okay, I mean, you know how it's a precious franchise to me, so
No, I get you.
I'm concerned.
It's your baby.
Yeah.
The Bone Temple. It's happening, and everybody's coming back.
Okay.
So sorry. Back to the So, real quick. Yeah. So basically, Ela and Spike have like a little moment where they're talking, and Spike gets darted in the back by Dr. Kelson. Which, by the way, did you have to administer it through blow dart?
Yeah.
They basically knock him out while
this part was a little difficult for me to swallow.
In what way?
So, in summary of this scene, and it's a very emotional scene. Like the presentation, I don't have a problem with. I think it's very beautiful. But just what happens in it is he gives her terminal diagnosis, and then wordlessly, the doctor and Isla just agree that he will now kill her and bring back her skull to her son.
Yeah, no, that was weird. And then he kisses his mom's skull. It's fucked up.
It's like, I understand this is a weird, surreal world.
Too, yeah.
It's a different world. It's just fucking weird, though. I don't know. It's hard. It took me out of it just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, fucking. Yeah,
it's a very nice. It's a beautiful. It's one of the scenes that sticks with me the most, though. Like he's cremating her body, and he Spike is drugged up, and he sees all these like visions of floating flames spinning around the memento mori. It's casting all these beautiful shadows.
Yeah, it's a real visual like craziness moment.
And he's coming to terms with like letting go, and it's the emotional climax of the movie.
Yeah, accepting death in a mature way and
it's the whole point of the movie. Yeah,
it's the whole thing. It's done really well. But yeah, no, the literal thing of like, hey, here's your mom's skull. Put it somewhere.
Yeah, that like I couldn't not think of that objectively. What was happening for me?
Especially because he kisses it and then he looks it in the skull, being like, "Bye,
love you, mom." Yeah,
that's insane. That's insane.
It was weird as fuck. But hey, the whole movie's weird as fuck. So.
Yep. We get a last little encounter with Samson. They Samson comes to the Bone Temple.
Yeah, that's the instigation that like you should probably go home.
Yeah, almost kills Dr. Kelson. Like almost gets head ripped.
And then they just sedate it again. Like, can we just fucking kill this thing?
Well, it's because Samson's coming back.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, no, like
it's like got a grudge now.
Well, no,
it's a defining characteristic and fucking 20-inch dong.
This baby, this baby Samson, all of it. It's all together, you know.
Man, that makes me nervous.
It's happening.
I like a singular movie, man.
It's also happening.
I like my safe space.
It's also happening soon. The movie is filmed. You will.
At least I don't have to wait that long.
You are seeing this movie in 6 months. We are making an episode about this movie in 6 months.
Holy God! I am excited and scared. That's scaring me more than anything in this movie, to be honest.
Yeah. And you can't let. Here's the thing: we've learned from this movie that you can't let a trailer. Even when the trailer comes out, be like, well, we don't know because this movie was selling something different than the trailer. But yeah, no, that's pretty much.
He goes back and he drops the baby off for the village to take care of, and he leaves a note. Yeah, saying like, "I'm just gonna keep rambling, old man. I'm gonna
he says something.
Keep on down that dusty trail.
I'm gonna. Yeah, he's like, I'm going to explore. I will a road warrior, a man they call Max.
I need to be out here so more story can happen.
I'm going to go be a badass. And then that's where the movie should have ended. And then
I guess if it's all... Yeah, it is where the movie should have ended. The fact that this is a planned trilogy that's already been shot makes me hate this last scene a little less, but not that much less.
I understand why... I mean, here's the thing. From the jump, I understood why the scene was there, but it's like... that
it's horrible.
It's horrible. It's awful.
It's like it doesn't fit. It's like a Zombieland thing. Like
it clashes so hard.
We can explain what happens, and then we can talk about why it's shit. But,
so 28 days later. So this is literally the end of the movie. It should have been an after credit scene, but
it should have.
After Spike is like, I'm gonna go be my own man. Like I'm gonna come back when I'm ready.
He gets attacked by a horde, and he
gets attacked, and then there's all these. He's rescued by a gang who are all styled after this.
After Jimmy Savile, if you've ever heard of him,
Sir Jimmy Savile, who was a media personality. I remember
the British, the English icon, Jimmy Savile.
Yeah, he's a British personality, radio personality, or whatever.
Best known now for being a TV personality and nothing else.
And this whole gang is dressed in tracksuits.
Just kidding.
Tracksuits. They all have the same long, stringy blonde hair.
Do you know about Jimmy Savile?
I don't know anything about him beyond what he looks like.
Oh well, the reason it took me aback earlier, and we might want to soften this or cut this out. He was a horrible alligator. Yeah, he was a horrible child rapist.
You know it's bad when it's in the first paragraph of
he was a monster. He was one of the worst people who ever lived. He was a monster. That's why I gave pause when I saw his name in the description of this movie.
Wow. Yeah, I have no idea why they're all. That gives another confusion as to why they're all styled like him. But regardless,
I guess they would have grown up watching him on TV.
They're all in these tracksuits, the multicolored tracksuits, because there was also a little Power Rangers reference earlier in the movie. Spike had a little Power Rangers toy, but they're all dressed like Power Rangers.
Yeah, he meets this guy, and he's like, "Do you mind if we help out?" And and Spike's like,
Jesse,
"Okay,
James."
Yeah, exactly. And Spike's like, "Okay," and then. He does this really theatrical fucking go, and then they all front flip down,
and this crazy upbeat punk song.
It's a metal cover of the movie. It's a metal cover of the Teletubbies theme.
Oh, okay.
And it's Zombieland. It completely clashes. It's isn't zombie killing crazy fun? It's the most 2012 shit in this whole movie. It doesn't fit, and to have it as the last scene of the movie is so fucking lame. And it made me wish I had walked out before that scene, because it knocks the whole movie. It's more understandable now. I know it's a trilogy, but it knocks the whole movie down a star rating for me.
If anything, it makes me more afraid for where it's going. Because are you saying this is where it's going?
The fact, is this going to have a goofier tone in the next one? Because I don't want that.
I don't want I don't want super goofy.
We've got goofy zombies. We don't need that.
28. The 28 movies, they can have lighthearted moments.
That's people interacting. That's the joy. That's the whole point. But zombie killing isn't supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be tragic. You're killing just sick people.
These movies are the most serious when there's zombies on screen.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
They're scary, and then killing them doesn't make you feel good.
They ain't no joke.
Yeah. But he walks up and he's like, "Hey, I'm Jimmy," and we as the audience are supposed to be like, "Whoa, really? That's it's supposed to be Nick Fury at the."
Well, it's Jimmy from the opening. It's the little kid from the opening.
Yeah, I know, but it's supposed to be this big moment. But most of the people are just like, "Fucking who? What?
What?"
It doesn't work. It's the fact that at least Alex Garland and Danny Boyle both had to agree that should be the last scene of the movie has been stuck in my brain since I saw it the first time. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Maddening.
Yeah, it's like I said, these characters are all it's confirmed. Jack O'Connell, who plays the character of Jimmy here, is confirmed. So in the Wikipedia page for the Bone Temple, the sequel, he's credited as Sir Jimmy Crystal, cult leader of the Jimmies and survival. And there are I guess everybody in this cult is named Jimmy.
Jemima,
which I also guess is how Jim from 28.
Are we cooked? Are we cooked, chat?
Is this it? Is this the end?
Is this over? Are they going to massacre my boy?
Is Jim from 28 Days Later going to be part of this?
Oh my god! No fucking way! No, please God! If that, No, he's in it.
Yeah.
I'm worried, man. I'm gonna be sweating until that movie comes out.
That first trailer is getting sweating bullets.
Because I like this movie so much, it's given me hope, and I wanted another. I mean, I guess if this is all just one continuous, like, this is essentially one long story, I don't mind that. I was hoping for just like another anthology episode, essentially, as a sequel, maybe even like at the same, but like, ooh, this is weirding me out, man. I guess we'll find out.
The guy that plays the Alpha. Sorry, just on.
Oh, is he a fighter?
Yeah, he's a UFC fighter, man. The guy who plays the Alpha.
Lewis.
He looks way less scary with short hair.
He is.
How tall is he? Hold
They also gave him like red eyes and shit.
6'9". Yeah, there you go.
Scary dude.
But yeah, no, this ending.
Bad ending. But then the song that plays for the credits is a banger, so it's whatever.
I mean, bad ending for a lot of reasons. As far as like, it really does just kind of deflate. It deflates the journey we just went on.
I didn't really even like the ending of him not going back to the village. I wasn't a big fan of that. I didn't think it matched tonally. It also didn't make, like, you know how dangerous it is out here, and that every second you're not in a village, you're risking your life. Like, any number of horrible things can happen to you out here, and death isn't even the worst thing that can happen to you.
I just feel like we've been talking about Star Wars this whole time. This is like he finds Luke. Like, it's Force Awakens. He finds Luke on the island. Like,
yeah, it's honestly like a weird, like, the end of a Marvel movie. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't.
Vibes.
It's such a dumb fucking scene. And if it's that's the main thing that's got me worried for the sequel. Is it's going to be like a comedy or something? And we've got funny zombie movies. That's not what the series is.
Yeah, we got Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, this is supposed to be like sad and horrible, which is exactly what I like.
Yeah. But yeah, that's overall. Yeah, that's 28 years later.
Yep.
This new, which, yeah, I'm sorry. I was talking about this whole thing as if you knew that it was part of a planned trilogy. I think it's a thing where it's like,
you broke the news to me.
Yeah, no, I broke it to you. Ultimately, with this movie, why I think there's incredible filmmaking work here. I think Danny Boyle is a really interesting auteur director who makes a lot of interesting filmmaking choices. I think the performances of this movie are incredible. I think there is not a bad actor in it. I think
the directing is fantastic.
The music's great. I think
the editing is beautiful. I love the way it's shot.
The scary scenes that are people complaining that it's not scary enough. It's
scary as fuck. I don't know what they're talking about.
The scenes that are scary are fucking terrifying. Everything with the zombies is like, everything with the infected is done really well. There's interesting world building. I think there are some plot holes here and there, and it's a thing where it's like, Danny Boyle is not the director who goes for realism. Like,
no,
in any of his movies, like all. Yeah,
watch Trainspotting.
Watch fucking Slumdog Millionaire.
Yeah,
watch, like there's like a certain element of like
movies are dreams, man.
Yeah, like a heightened realism, and like dreamlike is how I would put a lot of like his filmmaking. And
if you can make a movie more, I don't know. I feel like it's a wasted opportunity to make a movie super like close to reality. You know.
Even movies by Danny Boyle that I don't love, I always still will enjoy the vibe of or enjoy things about.
He's a good director, yeah.
Did you see Yesterday with him or know about the movie?
No, I didn't even know he directed that. I know of it.
Yesterday, bro.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, no, and that's pretty. And it's not a great movie, but I come back to it because like there are just certain there are some things that he hits on the fucking head in that movie. So 28 years later, it's definitely, as far as like, we talk about wanting to see like great like mid-high budget movies from like filmmakers who actually have something to say. This movie has a lot to say.
It's true.
And regardless of like the inconsistencies that are in it, like it's so much more substantial and has so much like we've been talking for almost 2 hours. Like there's
probably about the length of the movie, to be honest.
Yeah. And it's a thing where it's like, there's a lot to chew on. I'm really excited to watch it again. I'm excited to own.
It's good on a second watch.
I'm excited to own it on 4K Blu-ray. I think a lot more things are gonna be cleared and a lot more.
Plus, you know when to leave on a second watch.
That's true. I know that as soon as I see 28 days later, I'm like, turn it off.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, just should have been an after credit or a deleted scene, or like maybe, you know what? Not even that. A fucking internet like online exclusive clip.
Or just don't put it in the fucking movie. Or just don't make it. You know.
Or just take it. Or go back to the drawing board. Yeah. But no, we'll see. So now we get to our point. Props. What prop do you want? I feel like there's this could be hard or this could be easy.
It's a little hard. I guess I'd take like Eric's head or something like that after with the spine attached. Because like after at a certain point, like Ralph Fiennes is like carrying that around, and you kind of forget he has it, and then you see that he's holding this like horrible like. Well, he's saying these like beautiful things about the memento mori. He's holding a severed head.
We forgot to mention his little. He has a little fold-up chair.
Yeah.
Like at his little crematorium.
Where he drinks tea. Yeah.
Where he drinks tea. Yeah. No, he's such a kooky. I love like him. A kooky scientist, like a crazy scientist. Joseph, have you ever seen the TV series Ben 10 Alien Force?
Yes.
Remember the character Paradox?
I think so.
He's so for those of you like it's the kind of character I love. So he was the scientist who, long story short, he's trying to invent time travel. He turns on his time travel machine, he gets sucked in, and like he's basically floating around like the space between dimensions or whatever, and like basically he's immortal, he doesn't eat, he doesn't sleep, and he's just floating around for eons to the point where like he basically like just figures out, like he literally just kind of maps out the back doors of the whole universe, where like I just like floated around and memorized the whole universe because I was floating around for like billions of years of eons and eons, and like he's just this like kooky wacky he's like a scientist version of Q from I fucking love characters like that.
I was thinking Q.
I love crazy scientists, like kooky off their nut scientists.
And I mean, we know at least he'll be good in the sequel.
At the very least he'll be entertaining. But yeah, props. Oh wait, no, I know what I want. It's a little stupid, but as far as like something, and I don't even know if I want to call this a complaint. I want the mask.
Oh, that's a sick. Yeah, you know what? That's a good grab. Yeah, the mask is fucking awesome.
But I will say, I was disappointed that the mask didn't really come into play. It's a cool.
It looks like they had a scene with it that they cut out.
Yeah, no, like with the girl, like
they like use a really short clip of like the mask like walking toward the camera with all these people rushing around, and it's like, what's the context for that? And we just never. I
think it was like they must have had a thing where like another tribe tried to attack the village or something. Like that's what I got from it. But I mean, it's a great design. It's a really
is that where you think the mask came from? Like a tribe?
That's at least from the scene that the little clip they showed, it looked to me like an enemy tribe attacking. Was what
I took it solely as like a training aid for the kids, like because it's got the same like slack-jawed expression
as the
infected, and it's like bleeding from the eyes. So they they put it on like the targets for and then the old man's like wearing on his head as he's like riding the bike. I took it as like normalizing how they look for the kids if they ever come across one, so they like know what to look for.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's possible. Either way, it's cool looking.
It's a cool mask.
I'm gonna hang it on my wall.
It's emblematic of the whole movie.
With the arrow through it too.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. But yeah, folks, that was our discussion of 28 years later. Let us know what you think about it. Like, everyone I've talked like I said, a lot of people. What did Avery think about it?
She loved it. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
What did Court? What was the problem with it?
Court hated it.
What didn't Court like it?
Well, they just I think ultimately they didn't. So a lot of the reasons about like, I told them afterwards, like, it's the first part of a planned trilogy to explain the ending, and they were like, okay, well, like, I didn't like, people don't know that they're not advertising this film as the first part of a trilogy.
No, they're not. I didn't know.
So there's a bit of a Dune Part 1 Across the Spider-Verse feeling going on there.
It felt like a complete story, though. That's why that ending made no sense.
Yeah. And then overall, like they didn't like a lot of the Danny Boyle like editing,
directorial decisions.
Yeah, they also just don't like Alex Garland. Like every Alex Garland thing we watched, like they didn't like Civil War.
Well,
they don't like Ex Machina.
Nobody likes Civil War.
You like Civil War?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like nobody likes Civil War except me. And I see every flaw with Civil War. I just like the way Alex Garland writes, so it's fine.
I didn't hate. What did I think about Civil War?
You were pretty lukewarm on it.
I was mediocre on it. I thought it had one amazing scene.
Yeah. I liked it when I saw it in the theater. I feel like if I saw it again, I'd think it was fine.
Yeah, we saw it at home too, so that might have been diminished.
Yeah.
That's definitely one where like the theater would have helped. But yeah, no, this ain't a Civil War. Yeah, 28 years later, definitely go check it out.
Yep.
It'll be on streaming at some point. Also, at the very least, go check out the first one. Check out 28 Days Later.
It's
and
better.
Also go back and listen to, we did an episode on 28 Days Later and a Weeks Later. So maybe I'll combine both the episodes into like a super cut.
Yeah.
that people can listen
And then
to.
when the next one comes out, you'll make another one.
Another one, just giant 28.
Yeah.
By the way,
yeah.
It's right on the table for, I want, like, if they ever want to fucking cash in on a TV show, 28 months later is right there.
If
they want to do like a little 28 months, like dealing with the virus.
Dude,
like,
28 minutes later. the actual outbreak.
Yeah. But no, there's a lot there. Once again, thanks folks for listening. Now you can, in fact, go to www.midnightmoviegang.com to listen to the show, find links to all of our social media pages, sign up for the Patreon, and also check out the store. I might like name it like the video store or something. But check out our Etsy where we're selling our Midnight Movie Gang VHS tapes. We have Signs in the Fly 2. It's tapes with the movies and our commentaries on those movies from our Patreon.
Buy them.
Watch along with us. Buy them. They're super cool. Even if you don't watch them, I think that the VHS.
They look cool on a shelf.
They look cool on a shelf. They look nice. They look like blockbuster cases. Go buy them. Go check them out. Go look at them. And follow us. Have a nice night. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
So, here we go. With childish frustrations and complexes which the police are searching for James Thomas, believed to be the lover of Miss Williams, and her partner in the horrible murder of Walter. We grant everybody that I'm here to hold on. Oh, please tell me where this going. Please tell me. Sorry, I don't know. How hopeless could I got in here? 3 tickets to Albany on 6 o'clock train tonight. What do you mean, Special agent, Special agent,